Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Tara, and we are going to talk about the Righteous Gemstones, Season 1, Episode 3. It's called They Are Weak, But He Is Strong. So full spoilers for the episode as always. And we're a little bit early with this one, because HBO put out their Sunday night programming a couple of days early on all the streaming apps. So here we are. I'm going to talk about Episode 3. So we're actually early for it. I mean, not early compared to when it went up in the streaming service, but we're beating the airing, the actual airing on the network. We're beating. So look at us. We're ahead of the curve for a change.
What?
I know, right? So this episode is instantly the worst of the three episodes because there's no Keith.
Well, I watched the trailer for the next episode, and it is heavy on the Keith.
Good. Because
the trailer itself is just like a little mini scene. It's really good.
I missed Keith. I missed Keith's ballsack. I missed all the Keith things we've
you
had.
got plenty of ballsack in this episode.
That's true. There was plenty of ballsack in this episode. More than I'm happy with. And honestly, you get a lot of a body double, because I refuse to believe that that was Walton Goggins' penis and balls in that scene for a second. But it was so.
As do I.
It was so clearly shot so that they could use a body double for the nudity. They just wanted the joke, of him standing up, because he's in like a. Was that a bath?
Tub?
Yeah, it's like a bathtub outdoors, and it looks kind of filthy. And I don't know if it's meant to be dirty water, if it's just he's put a bunch of shit in it, and it just looks that color.
I don't know. It's probably water that hasn't been changed. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to look like he does though. I knew he was going to be in this episode. I was not expecting the white hair.
Oh yeah, he looks amazing.
It's a very different character than what I'm used to. Bill. That's his character's name is Bill. Billy. But I'm so used to Walton Goggins playing the dickbag. Usually racist. He may still be racist in this. I mean, it would still fit the whole thing, but very different.
You're going with this Sheriff of Red Rock's character from Hateful Eight.
Well, Hateful Eight, I mean, I know mainly from The Shield. He's always going to be Shane from The Shield for me, because that's just what he was in. He was in 7 seasons of that, and he was great in that. I always like to crack a jokes out. Actually, he had this thing because they were corrupt cops in that show, and he always had this same alias that he'd always use. If he had to use a fake name, he'd always say Cletus Van Damme. And I once pitched a show where Cletus Van Damme and Ark Vandalay teamed up to solve cases, because I thought that was really funny. And if you don't get that joke, Ark Vandalay was the alias that George always used on Seinfeld, and that was just, I don't know. I love the idea that these two characters both had their set alias. You could also add in Burt Macklin from Parks and Rec, I suppose, if you want to. He's the FBI guy. But so yeah, we're introduced to Billy, who is the brother-in-law of Eli. His sister was his wife, and Eli's wife, not his own wife, because we meet his own wife. We meet Tiffany, Aunt Tiffany. We meet.
Yeah, she's a lot.
She's a lot. She's very young. He's married a young trophy wife, although it does have the one notable exception of really, really bad teeth, comically bad, and. That's a thing that sort of played up throughout the episode. But so we find out the new church that was opening is in this mall. The one that oh god, what was his last name again? The pastor.
Seasons.
Seasons, yes. So what Seasons?
John Wesley Seasons.
John Wesley Seasons. So he him and the others were upset about this new church opening. We find out it's in a mall. It's actually in a mall. It's like a movie theater in a mall. They just walk into this.
Yeah.
It used to be a Sears, and now it's just this modern.
It's so funny because living out here, or I was living in Virginia, right next to Liberty University, which is a church that disguises itself as a school, and. But they have so much money because they're a church and they don't have to pay all the taxes that regular schools do. So they keep buying up more and more of the city of Lynchburg. And when Sears started to sell off in the mall started to go, they bought the Sears and turned it into their Liberty University online college facility.
Joe is so funny about it is I think in the metaphor of the show, because we're comparing everything they're doing to the mafia and how commercial it is, the idea that they take a lot in a mall that used to be a Sears and turn it into one of their outlets is really funny. but the fact that it's kind of really happened as well is even funnier.
Yeah. Definitely.
Also, I love how you'll casually name drop where you used to live now. You'll actually name the city because you don't live there anymore. Because
I don't live there anymore. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. But I'm pointing that out just in case anyone wants to try and stalk. The city's vacant now. Of anyone worth stalking. Sorry, City of Lynchburg. Maybe you're getting nice people there. I don't know. Tower's the only one I know. There's at least one I know about actually who strikes me as a loser, but that's a conversation for off air. So
it's not Jerry Falwell. He's dead.
I have no idea who that is.
I know who you're talking about.
So he comes to town. He's going to run this mall church, and we see him come in. We see him talk to Eli, and Eli, they don't have this great relationship. There's kind of an awkward sort of thing with them. And he's like, oh, I wouldn't normally take a position like this. I'm used to doing coliseums, but I'll do a favor to you because you're family. And he's treating it like he's doing him the favor, whereas Eli thinks he's doing Bill the favor because he's like giving him a job because he's kind of pathetic and needs the work.
Eli sees himself in a very different light than where he actually is.
Yeah, and Eli gives him a really sort of like mediocre introduction on stage to his first show. That's what I'm going to call it. It's a show.
Yeah.
And he's preaching, he's doing his thing, and he's like, "Can I get an amen?" and yada yada yada. All that bollocks.
You mean the speech about how this used to be a place where you could buy power tools, but now you could buy Jesus, but you can't put him on layaway.
Yes.
I don't know what that means.
You can't just like bank him for later and be good. Like you have to be good the whole time. Look at you. If buying Jesus is goodwill because you're being a good person, you can't just be a shitty person then just be good at the end. Even though born again Christians are totally a thing and they say you can be forgiven and blah 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 blah. The whole thing's flawed. Let's be honest.
People like a comeback story.
Hence why Jesus rose from the grave after about 3 days. The biggest comeback story of the century. Or the millennia, even at this point. It was a while ago now.
Yeah.
Well,
supposedly.
If you believe it happened, it was a while ago. Apologies to any religious viewers who might be listening to this review. We're both atheists. We're going to crack jokes.
There's no way they're watching Righteous Gemstones.
Probably not. No, they probably hate it with a passion. Yeah, and we also see Billy come over and introduce the wife to the siblings, to Jesse, Judy, and Kelvin, and I will say, I joked that this episode was the weakest of the three. I do actually think I believe that, mainly just because I don't think there was as many scenes that were like proper laugh out loud, like made me heart laughing kind of, because I think the first two episodes both had like a few of those. This one doesn't quite have that, although I do enjoy this scene.
It has a pretty strong ending though.
The ending's pretty strong, but she's hi, and she's like, oh, I know I'm younger than all three of you, but like I'm going to be a good auntie and like whatever. One of them's like, oh, we're just going to call you, Tiffany. We don't, no need for labels. And she goes, oh, I want to be called auntie. And like, it's like, I know, baby, I know. Hey, guys, she was really looking forward to becoming an auntie. Could you call her Auntie Tiffany? And I think it's just Kelvin on his own. He's like, okay, Auntie Tiffany. It's like, and she's like, make them all do it. All three of you, come on, do it for your new aunt.
Yeah, this could be a bit much, but like in a scene, but I think Walton Goggins' reaction to it and everyone else like kind of sells it. I think where it's still funny.
What gets me about the whole teeth gag that's going on throughout this episode is that he actually brings it up in front of her, and she's like complaining about her sore teeth. He's like, oh, we're going to get you checked out, and you're perfect outside of those horrible teeth. Like he basically says that to her, and it's like, it's maybe like a sweet moment.
He's basically treating her like you're 10, so long as we can fix you. You will be a 10.
You will be a 10 once I'm done paying for alterations. So that was a fun scene. But obviously the big stuff in this episode is him coming back and him running this church. Obviously has a falling out with Eli after Eli, because him and Eli go to Seasons, like sermon, their Sunday service, and I did laugh a little bit because Walton Goggins at one point, with Billy's like, he leans over, he's like, "This is the most boring, service I've ever been to," and he leans over to the woman next to him and like hands it like a car and goes like, "Hey, I've got a much better church. You come and visit me next Sunday."
Yeah, and everyone there is just so polite, like, okay.
he's canvassing, he's pitching people, he's selling people on his church in the middle of a service at a rival church. It's ballsy. It's ballsy. I'll give him that. The highlight of this, of course,
see that he does have them.
That's true. At the start of the episode, he stands up out of the bathtub, and we see his cock and balls just hanging out there for all the glory.
Just good for him.
Do what to do. Like I say, the way it's shot, it's clearly a body double. But hey-ho. So, highlight of this scene later on, though, is that John Goodman throws a potato through through the window of the church. Because
I think the Reverend accuses him of being a phony and like coming to his church so that he can remember what it's like to be real.
Yeah.
And then he breaks the window and then just pulls out a wad of $100 bills. Like, how much will that be?
Yeah.
Just like
just flicks it at them. And Bill tries to be slightly more diplomatic and picks them up and puts them in his pocket as if that's much better.
Right.
And of course the reason they come actually is that Seasons puts out like a flyer, like accusing like their family of doing all this bad stuff that they've been accused of over the years. It's like a little info flyer, and also brings up in this scene when he's talking to Eli that, hey, someone from your church came at my house with weapons, and which they did. Mm-hmm. Eli doesn't know about it, of course, but they did. So they're keeping that ticking. Maybe Eli will find out about it at some point. But
I imagine so.
Yeah, but this all culminates because at the end of this scene, like Seasons kind of nods at a couple of ruffians. Like there's a couple of guys who go to the church that he kind of nods at, and this all leads up. Eli, by the end of the episode, he has a kind of heart to heart with the kids. We'll get to that plot separately because it's more to do with Jesse and his sons. But he's like, oh, maybe I should go apologize, and he's driving to the church. This is after because after this scene, they have a fight and Billy like quits because he feels looked down upon. So Eli goes to the store or goes to the mall where the church is, and it's right that he's doing this that the masked men from Seasons Church are vandalizing and destroying the church. Spray painting on the walls, and they're knocking things over and smashing things. But it just so happens that Billy and his wife are there. Billy and Tiffany are there, so they hide, and you don't know what's going to happen. Like they're chasing them. Like, this show can get dark. We've seen the evidence of that. Like what are they going to do? And they find them. But just as they find him, luckily John Goodman appears with his gun and
his golden gun.
Yeah, and scares them off, or scares them from hurting them. And then
right,
the end of the episode.
Quite scare him off.
Well, he scares the clothes off them. He does do that.
Yeah.
He makes them take their clothes off, and it's HBO, so we see all its glory. These 5 middle-aged dudes, most of whom are overweight, butt-ass naked. And he makes them walk out the mall in front of people naked. I guess I have a slight... this is a weird nitpick here, but when everyone arrives at the mall, it feels like it's after hours and then it's empty, it's shut. But when they get forced to walk out at the end of the scene, there's like tons of shoppers.
People, yeah, I noticed that too. I'm like, but it's nighttime.
Yeah, it was weird.
Maybe this is winter and days are short?
Maybe, yeah, but like the impression I got when the masked men were coming in the front of the church, it felt like the mall was empty. Like this was after hours. That was just the feeling. It wasn't just that it was night.
Yeah, I thought so too.
But
there were cars in the parking lot when he shows up.
Sure.
Like he sees the 2 cars in front of the church, and then there are cars in the parking lot. So.
Yeah, it's a small thing. It's not a big deal. I mean, the joke works. I wouldn't take it away because the joke's funny.
The joke. It works, but what really got me is John Goodman laughing.
Oh, yeah.
It was so contagious.
Yeah, they bond over like treating these guys this way. Because there's a moment where Billy's kind of like hesitating, where he first tells them to take their clothes off. He's like, "No, wait a minute now, brother Eli," and then that thick Walton Goggins Southern voice that I can't even begin to mimic.
I don't know. He's a treasure, though.
Oh, he is. He's so typecast. He's always a racist. Like that is what he's cast as. Like in everything.
I guess he's a bit of a racist in Vice Principals, but I think he's very different in Vice Principals, sure. And definitely in this in this show. Also, he's incredibly different.
He's very different in this. I feel like Walton Goggins feels like a very similar character usually, but this one does feel a bit different because they're doing the whole evangelical thing and,
Yeah, I love the
crap.
hair and the teeth and the skin that looks so overly tanned and
Yeah.
like
He's tacky.
burnt.
He's a tacky mate. He's like a yuppie from the 80s. He goes to the
Right,
sunbed too
yeah.
much. That's what it
Even
looks
his
like.
clothes look very dated, but like money dated.
Yes. He's spending a lot of money on them. It's that classic example of rich people just spend money on crap because they just have money to burn on things.
Yeah.
So that was that plot, and it was mostly fun. Goggins was an interesting addition to the cast. Of course, a lot of the main plot revolved as well around Jesse and the fact that Gideon's back, and how he keeps acting hostile towards him, and mainly jealous that he even tried to be successful in anything other than the family business. Because, at one point he's in the car and Gideon's telling the family this story about how he ran into Vin Diesel when he was in Hollywood, and he was like, well, those Fast and the Furious movies are bad. You don't even want to watch them, honey, because they're just dumb action movies. And Gideon's like, no, they're really about family. There's was like, no, they're not. And this is where he's like, they're about a bunch of different ethnicities. He really emphasizes the syllables and ethnicities, who all work together.
Ethnicities.
Yeah. He's really doing the deliveries and that sort of stuff really good. But he's like, well, when I was younger, I ran into this person, and they're all like, who? He's like,
I don't know who it was either.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't, because he said the show, and I'd heard of the show, but I can't remember it. But he's basically like, so now we don't know who this person is. Never watched this show. Huh. And I'm like, this is like a show from the 70s. Like, no, none of these kids in 2019 have heard of this. No.
No.
Or your wife, who's like 15 years younger for that matter. just to put that out there while we're on the subject. So there's a lot of scenes with Gideon. Gideon's literally going through the house at one point, actually trying to just taking an itinerary of all the valuables.
An inventory of everything.
So he wants Scotty to steal to get his money. Although
It
Scotty's
was kind of fun to see all the things he was listing though.
Yeah, and Scotty's not happy about this. He just wants cold hard cash, and Gideon's like, no, that's kind of difficult to just make appear. I can give you info. That's about it right now. And of course, Scotty's still the worst. He's just peeing in front of everyone. And do you know what bothered me the most about this peeing scene? Is that this is just on a sort of hygiene level. Is that he's not even he starts zipping it back up while it's still peeing. He's not even.
I know, and it's so funny because I just watched RoboCop today. Not for the A's, but just because I love RoboCop. And I don't know if you remember the scene where they're in the bathroom and making fun of the older businessman that what's his name is taking over his spot basically because RoboCop is more successful than Ed 209. And everybody leaves because they find out the older guy is in the bathroom stall the whole time, and his friend who's pissing next to him and laughing about it just says, oh, okay, I gotta go, and he zips up before he leaves, but he's wearing this gray suit and you could just see the pee the wet spot coming through the pants. It's one of the best moments.
It really bugged me. But I was just like, you there's no way you don't have dribbles of pee going down your leg as soon as you did that. There's no way.
I thought that too, and I looked for it, and you can see his pants are splotchy in this scene.
I mean, he looks like a mess anyway, so I guess he's the sort of person.
He's wearing black, so who knows? Maybe you're right. Maybe he was just messy anyway. But there's no way he was done. He had a good solid stream when he started shaking.
He did. Yeah, and that, I mean, at least as far as I'm concerned, that's a myth. I've heard this in movies where you can just shake it off at any point and stop. You can't. At least I can't.
Oh,
it's not possible.
I'll take your word for it.
That's not possible. Oh, I wasn't expecting you. Need more than my word, Tara. Thank you very much. Would anyone else like scientific evidence?
No.
Right in.
Not a detail I need to know.
mftvquestions@gmail.com if you want to know more about my attempts to see if I can stop peeing mid-pee. I'll happily know your emails, but you can send them in if you want.
Don't answer it on our show.
And on this segment this week on Bathroom, talk.
Bathroom talk.
I was trying to think of something alliterated, like bathroom buddies. New segment, bathroom.
You might actually get some views for that.
So anyway, we have more scenes of conflict. They're at the dinner table, and Jesse can't help but just crack jokes constantly, or not even jokes. Little passive aggressive remarks about Gideon, because Gideon's explained that a lot of his scenes that he did, he actually pretended to be a woman. He was doing stunts for an actress. It's called wigging, which is a very real thing in the movie industry, and much like is brought up in this scene, it's a very real thing that female stunt performers are actually kind of like rebelling against it, because it's like, hey, wait a minute, that should be our job. Why using a man for that? And it was such an accepted thing for a long time, and it probably just came from the fact that for a long time it was probably just mostly male stunt performers. The vast majority were.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe specific.
There was a really funny line in this conversation, though, where they were talking about, like, I think a woman should pretend to play a woman who's pretending to play a woman who's falling, or something like that. The way it was delivered was really funny.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
It made it sound kind of ridiculous.
Because every time Jesse brought it up after this, he kept saying, "Oh, your son wants to run away to Hollywood and pretend to be a woman." Like, that was the way he kept phrasing it.
Like, that's all he took from it.
Yeah.
Like, how can he make this into an insult? Yeah.
Yeah. All he took from it was basically some transphobic thoughts. That was basically all he got from it. And BJ is, very progressive. He's the one that sticks out, because he's like, no, I mean, as much as you've lost some work there, we should be progressing this way, and women should be getting these jobs. And well, he's right. Like, he's sitting at a table where everyone else is like these like hardcore religious conservatives who are like, what? Shut up, BJ. And why is Keith not at this dinner? I feel like Keith's important enough to be at this dinner. I mean, I think the family need to get the priorities in straight.
I think Keith is a friend, but not part of the family. So.
Well, they're idiots and don't know who's important to them. All right. So BJ is barely, like, they're not married yet. Like, come on.
You're right.
They're not even supposed to be living together.
Living in sin.
Yeah, that's a secret that they're living together. Yeah. So.
You're right. I did notice the lack of Keith in this episode too.
It hurt me. It hurt me deeply. I did actually. The funniest scene in the episode, though, is after perusing the footage again, Jesse decides to have a meeting with the little entourage, right? And he basically, one of the guys is made like commemorative coins for them all, because they've all been through this together, and they all basically say, "We did it." And then their name, and he's like, "No, we're not having this. This is admission. No, give me the coins. Give me the coins." And he makes it feel like shit. But that's not. I mean, that's funny. But that wasn't the part I laughed a lot at. It's when he accuses the other guy, because okay, looking at the footage, this guy's slender and he's got a bit of a swagger, so he may be a performer. And hey, you're a whatever his name was. You're a guitarist. You got a bit of a swagger. He's like, what are you suggesting? And he like pulls out like a knife. And he's like really threatening him.
Like a switchblade.
And there's a lot of nice little jokes here where he's like, and you're the one who got the whores the night we that footage was taken. He's like, no, I didn't. You did. And there's this little moment where McBride just sort of looks over and says like, but you introduced me to it though. Like, it keeps sort of going like that. But the part that really made me laugh is Gideon comes in the room and they act like nothing's like happening. And you just hear this guy behind Jesse go, "Help!
Help! Did he say help?
Did he say help?" It's like, no, everything's fine.
No, we're praying.
So that scene really did make me laugh. And then after the dinner scene, they all have a heart to heart, because Eli heard what they said about him to Billy about having a stick up his ass and how he's been rough ever since their mum died. And he has this heart to heart, and then that's what makes him go off and speak to Billy and save him at the end. And was that basically? I think that's all the plot, actually.
Yeah, there was a moment at the dinner scene, where Jesse is basically yelling at his, not Gideon, but the middle child.
Oh yeah, he's got a weird name. It was Pontius.
Yeah, Pontius.
Oh yeah, that's how I pronounced it. Yeah, Pontius.
And because he tells him, like, I don't remember what it was. But he cusses at him.
He was complaining. He was complaining that he wasn't eating his dinner properly, even though it's like mac and cheese is disgusting. Fight me on that, people. You can fight me. And he's like, "Oh, so
arguments from me.
Put water on it." And they get to it, and then he just tells me to go f himself, basically. Right? No, he says, "Shut the f up, old man." He's like, "What did you say?" It's like, "Oh, you want me to go to the room so they can't see you hitting me?" It's like, I never said I was going to hit you.
Right, and he tells him to leave.
Yep.
Like, yells at him across the table while everyone's like super uncomfortable.
And then blames it on Gideon for running.
There is a nice shot of his wife where you could see that she is incredibly frustrated because he's pushing another son away after she just got one back. But she's in that awkward place where she's only able to praise him all the time. So just a nice little shot of her thinking this is going to come back.
Did you enjoy the very erotic scene where he threw a wiener in her mouth, and the scene ended with her just with a wiener sticking out of her mouth? Did you?
Yeah, super erotic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I like seeing them together. They're really fun together.
Oh, they are. They're funny. No, I mean, I think this episode suffers a little bit because there's no Keith, and it doesn't get quite as outrageous as the last two. But it's genuinely quite amusing a lot of the time. The introduction of Goggins is really fun, and dealing with the character dynamics a little bit.
I think again the show is just telling us that there's no way to predict where it's going to go for the next episode.
Yeah, because I feel like I thought the conflict with seasons was going to be like a 1 or 2 episode thing, and it feels like it's going to be all season now. It feels like this is going to keep escalating.
Who knows?
Because once Eli tells Jesse about what happened, if he does, like Jesse's probably going to want to go and like get everyone together to go over and like smash his church in or something. So we'll go from one potato in a window to spray painting over some paintings and kicking over some chairs to Jesse like blowing up the whole thing or something. I don't know. Like, yeah,
we're gonna go straight into church wars.
Yeah,
church turf wars.
I kick ass for the Lord. That's a reference to Brain Dead for anyone who didn't get it. Unfortunately, my New Zealand accent is lacking. But it's a great clip where the demons or whatever are attacking, near a priest, and the priest like comes out and says, "I kick ass for the Lord." And he's thick New Zealand accent, and it's the greatest thing ever. Greatest thing ever. Also known as Dead Alive. It was Dead Alive in the States. Because maybe they didn't want people to feel offended that they were saying they're brain dead or something. I don't know.
That doesn't sound like us.
Yeah, so you're not self-aware enough to know that you're brain dead. You're right. What, cheap shots? I'm sorry. It's easy.
I'm Canadian.
Easy. That's true. You are Canadian. Canadians are polite and friendly. That's the Canadian stereotype. The American stereotype is fat and stupid. Not that I think Americans are all like that. I don't. I love many of you, but that is if people are cracking jokes about America, that's what it's the same with like the French. You'll say they're arrogant and smelly. Is what you say about French people if you're doing the jokes.
They do like their wine and baguettes
and escargot and lots of cheeses that aren't for eating. Oh, that really like expensive cheese that has like maggots in it. Oh my god. Oh, what no part of it? What no part of it? Oh,
can't say I know it.
Oh no. And, I'd heard about that on a TV show once, and then I saw it in a movie, and like the character took a bite of it, and it was like the most disgusting thing I have ever seen in my life. I want no part of it. No.
Yeah, I'm alright.
Thank you. Oh dear. I've given up cheese though, so no cheese for me, not even cheddar.
Yeah, I'm vegan, so.
Yeah, you're vegan. I'm not.
I don't eat cheese anymore either.
I
don't eat anything gross.
That's not entirely true.
I mean, there's nothing gross about vegetables. It's just personal taste. Like, I don't eat anything that could be gross. Like, nothing that gets left out too long and spoils or made from lactations of a mammal. That's gross.
I've tried to quit lactations from mammals, but I like it too much, so I'm still into it.
It's addictive.
Anyway, this has been off the rails at the end, as it usually does. So you can let us know what you thought of this episode of the Righteous Gemstones. You can get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the show, like and subscribe, do the usual things. Rate the audio version of the podcast 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to it, because it helps us out a lot. And the services spread it out and search results and things like that more. You can support us financially. Tara, how can they do that?
Why, you can check out our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/MalfuzzTV, and you can donate as low as $1 per month, which helps us out a lot, and you'll get bonus stuff, like bonus episode of the other show we do called The Ace, which is our science fiction movie review show. You can check that out.
There you go. Even plug the show. Everything that was necessary. I'll just plug a couple of things me and Car just did TV-wise. We did the first episode of Carnival Row from Amazon Prime and the first episode of Dark Crystal, The Age of Resistance from Netflix. I'm not a fantasy person, so both had a lot of things to overcome for me to like it.
Yeah.
And did they?
You got stuff coming up though, right?
Go.
Like Watchmen.
We do. Oh, Watchmen. Yeah, we don't have a date for that yet. I mean, that's sometime this year.
Though, right?
It's they said sometime this year, but I think it'll be November at the earliest now because HBO have got all the September stuff kind of announced and lined up, so it's probably going to be at the very earliest early October. What we do have lined up though, there's like a bunch of Netflix stuff starting over September that we're trying. I mean, will we like it and keep it and do the whole seasons? It depends on the shows. But there's a Sacha Baron Cohen spy show called The Spy. It's not a comedy. You think it is because it's Sacha Baron Cohen, but no, he's in a serious role. There's a French show about a witch. It's a horror show that I'm going to be trying. Ryan Murphy's new show, The Politician, which is like a satire, is starting in September. There's a superhero show about a kid who's got powers and the mum's trying to raise him called Raising Dion, which is produced by Michael B. Jordan at the end of the month, starting on Netflix.
No way. Adonis Creed?
The Adonis Creed is producing a TV show, yes.
Well, I'll have to check that out.
So if you're on the audio feed, you'll find all those Netflix reviews on the almost cancelled Netflix Originals reviews feed. So we've got 2 TV feeds. We've got the Netflix one, we've got all the rest, which is the almost cancelled TV reviews feed. So yeah, just because there's so much Netflix content and we try a lot of it. So but that's it. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any lactating mammals?
Ugh, stop. Stop the show.